ShipSummit is about, shipping things.
We wanted something for practitioners themselves. We really wanted to find a place for people to get their hands deep into the work and the skills.
Shipping is getting really fast. Use it.
Hi, Sam Weston coming back to you from ShipSummit 2026. This is day 3. We have spent the last couple of days getting hands-on in the code, and today we are going to be talking to all of the practitioners, all of the developers on what they've been building and what they've been learning with AI and vibe coding.
Being an incredible listener and figuring out how do we get the entire team to feel like a team.
They're in the same room, they've got somewhat of the same mission, but they haven't really become the Avengers.
Hi, I'm Jody Inconza, and I'm a platform engineer, and I'm on the green track here at ShipSummit.
My name is Abel Hernandez. I am a senior product manager, and my track is Blue Square.
I am Lloyd Evans, the head of cybersecurity for Rise 8, and I'm on the double diamond track.
We're actually going to get together and ship something real for a real user with a critical mission.
Continuous delivery allows us to update the software that the mission operators need at the speed with which their mission is changing.
It's not just the people who already have the tech skills that can be successful here.
Well, for the Impact Lab, I built my first website, so I'm kind of a platform engineer, more back end, and so building a UI has been a really cool experience for me here today.
I think it's going to sound interesting. The conversationship is different because AI has enabled my teammates to be able to implement things that otherwise they depend on other people, and also myself. I'll have to depend on other people to give me the answers. Now I can get them. So it's triggering us to have conversations that we would take days, sometimes weeks to have and converge on, and it's enabling that a lot more now.
I think build it in a way that tracks the issues and the things that are actually happening under the hood. I had definitely had my own personal workflow that was very vibey before here, and I've definitely learned some stronger engineering skills to be able to leverage these tools in a way that I just didn't really know before.
A lot of organizations accidentally ship like 5 different versions of the exact same feature to customers because they didn't have time to coordinate with each other.
In a moment of crisis, it often opens a unique opportunity to implement changes that probably otherwise would never be considered.
I think where AI has helped me the most is definitely like bridging like some skill gaps. Like I don't have a lot of experience with like HTML or CSS and like all of the things needed to build a front end. And so it's been really cool to just like tell the AI like this is what I want it to look like, or I want it to scale this way or look like this on a mobile app without having to know like the finer details to make that happen like on my own. And I think where that can be a little frustrating or falling short is just talking about the context window is like really making sure that your context window stays appropriately sized so you're not losing the important information in the middle. It's just like interesting to like navigate to. It's like almost an extra thing to think about.
For sure.
So oddly enough, the thing that I said has been one of the most insightful ones. It's also been a little frustrating because context switching between the screen, what's happening, what someone else just did, now you got to talk about it. It's very fast now. So that's been a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's also been rewarding because you are getting a lot of the work done. So it's enabling us to have quicker feedback loops of what are we building. And we're very lucky because we actually have a chat from the Avalanche Center here walking around. So we grabbed him, he came in, we showed him within like 5 minutes what we were building. And from his perspective, he's the subject matter expert, right? He needed to tell us and confirm if what the direction that we're going is the correct one. So it enabled a little frustration at first because those feedback loops are so quick, but at the same time, it does enable us to come with propositions that are closer to solving the problem with subject matter experts that are around here right now.
I think it's helped the most in terms of abstraction. So I've been able, in my short time here, been able to figure out database problems, update UI issues, be able to translate kind of business impact into, a real tangible feature. All of that gets abstracted, and I'm leveraging AI to be able to accomplish that. Where I feel like it falls short is I don't always know, kind of the context of what it's doing, right? Some of these things, in order to do them the old way, I would have had to have learned 6 months or a year or more, to kind of master databases or whatever the particular part of the infrastructure is. And then, currently I don't have to do that, but also comes with its downsides.
But when the site is down, everyone's like super focused, like I know what our priority is, and it finally allows you to all be aligned.
We in the marketing team actually use AI every single day.
I think both, really. Like, I think a lot of new tools, or like all of the like iterations that we see in like technological advancement, are kind of both in one. Like, you're learning a new tool that then reshapes the way that you have to think about like the old tools that we use and why this new tool is so useful or important, and how it's in advancing like development in general. I think kind of both, yeah.
Both. Um, Definitely. I mean, I've been using AI at Rice A. We're very lucky that they have encouraged that, and we have a lot of great coaches. So as far as learning new tools, yes. I mean, we have some sponsors here, the Coder folks who have set up an environment. So the new skill for me has been that I can get spun up fairly quickly. And I think the learning has been something for me to take back that I need to learn and invoke in others is how are we going to make sure that those fast feedback loops are also triggering more improvement and also helping us not diverge and then come closer to solving the problems. That I think that's a new skill that needs to be learned, which is funny, right? Technology. I'm not gonna give you a very like technological answer. I'm giving you more like I guess a social answer that that's what we need to maybe improve and learn better communication.
Absolutely thinking differently about building. The tool stack that I was using a week ago is completely changed to one that I'll be using today, which could completely change in a week or 2 weeks. And so I think it's more of just experimenting, figuring out what works, committing to a certain path for a period of time, and then figuring out if those tools are still useful in serving me, down the road.
Yes, you can build things fast, but the cost has shifted from building things to the consequences of building things.
GovTech is really, really hard. There's obstacles galore, tons of bureaucracy, but it's also very rewarding.
No product survives the release.
I think it can feel risky at times if you're not super aware of like what's actually happening on the back end. Like, I think that abstraction layer is really cool, but I think if you're not super mindful of your context window or other important things to be aware of in the development process, like I think it can be risky like to let those things like get away from you in developing, especially in some of these like higher risk environments that like Rise 8 is a part of.
One of the things that I feel that as a product manager, we have to go to customers, we have to go to our team with credibility and build trust. And when you rely heavily too much on AI to produce outputs for you without you understanding exactly what is it that you are presenting and why, because you technically had a machine do it for you fairly quickly, and it just might sound good to present and might look cool to show, but if you don't understand fundamentally where there are some flaws or where you might be at risk later down if you move forward with this, that is very risky. And I'm still trying to reconcile that. How do we balance that?
Yeah, I think this might be a spicy take. I think there's a large business risk, almost existential, in not using these tools with the amount of extra capacity that it gives you to be able to build. That being said, coming from a security and compliance background, it's balancing that risk of needing to, build more, move quicker, and be able to actually achieve those mission outcomes, while at the same time doing that securely. And then for the spaces where compliance is of huge importance, doing that in a compliant way.
If you do most of your job on a computer, AI has been a consistent thing you've been hearing about for quite a while now.
Are we going to keep playing a single player game? Or how are we going to figure out how to do this together to form our Avengers within our alliances and step into multiplayer mode?
Well, I think as a developer, I feel biased that like we're needed. But I think it's been really cool. Like in my group, one of the event planners joined, and it was really cool to see her like so excited about like what this can mean for her and her own business. Of now we don't have to outsource like who builds our websites or does like some scheduling things. Like we could outsource that to Claude or another AI tool and like take care of that ourselves. So I think it's been particularly interesting to watch like non-technical practitioners be really excited and like run with AI.
We asked, why did you stick with this software instead of bailing out for the legacy system or going back to manual and getting on the whiteboards and doing some kind of manual Excel file kind of scheduling on your own? And they believed in us. They believed because we had people in their operations center.
Decision prompt, repeat, decision prompt, repeat.
As a developer, it gets to a point where like you're questioning yourself a little bit. You're like, what am I here for? But if you look at on the other side, on hindsight, it's more so. I used to be the developer, then we moved into being the delegator, where you're like telling the agent what to do. But I'm really excited about going towards the other end of it, which is the director, or what we're calling the director at the cohorts. So from delegator to director is where I'm in between now. So I'm like switching to the right, switching to the left. But it'd be nice, like, just ground myself and like, you know what, I can be the director. I can just do this whole cycle over and over again. So that's really what I'm excited about. And hopefully the next time you speak to me, I'm more of a director than a delegator.
I see my role in spending most of my time really grasping and understanding the business context. I think with AI, one of the things that our team discovered is that almost all of the answers, whether it's like schema related or UI related, come from a better understanding of the actual business context. That is the hardest thing that AI doesn't really have like access to, and it can't really figure that out on its own. So spending the mental cycles of really grasping with it, having the right conversations, and then talking to the people who truly understand the problems is where most of the time I feel like is going.
Not all momentum needs to be created. Sometimes it's already there, unstoppable. And you have to figure out if you can actually harness it.
It's like when Iron Man is running 10 simulations at once and is absolutely missing the thing right in front of him.
I would say that they should take the leap and make the investment. Like, I think AI can be really scary, and but it's like super cool. And I think what has been so impactful about ShipSummit is seeing how AI can lower the barrier of entry to like development and shipping things to production. And that's just a cool experience everybody should be a part of.